Covering the Universal Orlando Resort for 6 years, you are listening to the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast.
Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 254 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast. I'm hosting today. My name is Darren. And also with me, Lee Malaby.
Hello everyone!
Tracy Malaby.
Hello!
Hunter is still in the land without power.
Yes.
It's called Orlando.
The storms are coming
Florida.
through. Pretty bad. So Hunter is not with us, but we did invite our friend and listener here, Chris Screws, onto the show to discuss with us a couple of the new youth programs that Universal Orlando have rolled out recently. Welcome to the show, Chris. How are you doing?
Hi, doing well. How are you?
Excellent.
Thanks for joining us, Chris.
Oh, thank you for having me.
This has been in the works for quite a while. Chris was like, right, we need to do it now. And it's like, oh, busy. And it's like, right, now we do it.
Yes.
It's not like this is basically a theme park or anything.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, when we mentioned these on the show, it sounded like really interesting. It's something that we didn't know a lot of theme parks did. So when you messaged us and were like, oh, I'm taking some students on, it was like, okay, this is something we definitely need to talk about.
Right.
Yep, I am very retroactively mad at my teachers for that. That happened when I was a kid. It just sounds so awesome. So I am going to try to, they have those movies like 21 Jump Street and stuff. I'm sure I could just shave the beard off and pretend. I could get it
absolutely, they would never know.
No, Darren, no one would recognize you anyway.
Put shoes on my knees, they'll away. But yeah, we did, like Lee said, we mentioned a few months back, and Chris got in touch with us, and he said he was going to take some students to check them out. So there was two different tours you took, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So the first of the two tours was it's called Food for Thought: A Taste of Careers in the Culinary Arts, which Universal describes as, in this educational program, the Universal Orlando Resort Executive Chef Team and other industry experts take students behind the scenes to learn about the food flow process. From purchasing to receiving, from the warehouse to the theme park restaurants, students learn about food safety and storage, preparation, presentation, and careers in the industry. The program includes tours of the warehouse and cold storage areas, the production kitchen and bakery, and a look at banquet garnishes and displays. Allowing students to explore the tasks, responsibilities, and opportunities of each potential career path. So, Chris, tell us about this one.
Yeah, he's decided that after this, he's never eaten in a Universal Orlando theme park restaurant again.
Well, first of all, this is not my area of expertise, the Food for Thought. We collaborated with our culinary arts program.
Okay.
So I'm a visual arts teacher at our school. So I was more inclined to be interested in the special effects portion, which we'll get into in a little bit. But
Yes.
The culinary part, as far as the description goes and what we experienced, it's fairly different.
Okay.
We spent the first 30 minutes of the tour sitting in a room, I guess a boardroom of sorts, in the Navigators Club area.
Awesome.
And yes, for me, being a fan of the park, it was great. But as far as the children go, we sat in a room and watched a video that we had watched beforehand for 30 minutes, and then we talked.
Right.
Which was not terribly engaging.
I can imagine.
After that, they did take us across the park, and we did see the cold storage area for the food. So as far as the backstage portions, that was really about it. And we didn't go into a kitchen. We didn't see any of the other things that were described. But
boardroom video for half an hour, and then they stuck you in a fridge for 20 minutes. And
it's a really, really big fridge.
Yeah.
In fairness, in Florida, that might have been a good thing.
It was. Sure. For the first minute or so. But that tour was not terribly, like I said, engaging for the kids.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure that's an on and off kind of thing, depending on what's going on at the park at the time. And
that's what I thought too. I think it just depends on who's giving the tour, and if it's it definitely was not someone who is in the food department. It was someone in charge of youth programs. So maybe they don't have that personal experience.
Yeah. Yeah, Lee, you're gonna have to get Steve and Jason on the line and
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
find out what's happening there. But yeah, well, we were all really here for the second tour, anyways, right?
Oh, of course.
But yeah,
Yes,
but
yes.
going off the back of that first one, it's such a shame because, like, as fans of the theme parks, that's something we would be quite interested in, sort of finding out about the food, especially with, you know, how much themed stuff they've got now. And it sounds quite disappointing that what they've put out there as like the bump for it sounds really interesting. What you got to experience was a little less than that.
And Darren, like you said, it may depend on who's running the tour at the moment or what's going on with the parks.
Do you know how long they've been running these tours, Chris?
Do not. I do not know. And they're constantly evolving and adding to, and you were asking earlier about the STEM program, and that's brand new. And that was actually after we booked our tours.
Yeah.
That came up.
Because that was the one we mentioned on the show where you get to go like behind Confrontation and the Mummy and stuff like that. That sounds really cool because that's like educational as well, but getting to put that educational stuff into a sort of physical thing that people really love. I think it's a real good way of getting kids engaged in stuff whilst getting to go into a theme park.
Yeah. Right. And the other thing I was kind of wondering about when I was reading the description of the food tour thing is, you're gonna have a bunch of kids in the food prep area of the park.
Well, maybe that's why we didn't do that.
Yeah, maybe. It's like everybody gets hairnets and full biohazard suits, and here you go, run around and have fun. That's one thing that I thought might have been a little odd too, but
yeah,
it would be interesting to see, like how because I know they do some large scale food production on site, so. The regular snacks and baked goods and things like that. So it would be interesting to see, how they go about that every day. But hopefully they see some improvement, or maybe that was just an off day for them. But
I would like to think so, especially what we experienced the next day.
Oh, now that we are interested in hearing.
Yes, and what he's talking about is a tour titled Special Effects. Nice descriptive title there, which Universal describes as learn the secrets of movie making at Universal Studios. Find out how the arts and sciences are used to create some of the most spectacular special effects in motion picture history, and what it took to recreate those effects in some of Universal Studios' most popular attractions. In this hands-on interactive experience, students will possibly, I don't know, last one didn't go so well, uncover secrets of set design and construction at Revenge of the Mummy. Learn how makeup effects are created at Universal Orlando's Horror Makeup Show. Get backstage access to our facilities and production facilities. So, Chris, how was this one?
Well, it was fantastic. Cool. Absolutely fantastic. And just a little bit of background on my kids and myself. Like I said, I'm a visual arts teacher. The majority of the students on our tour were visual arts students. Mm-hmm. And in addition to visual arts, I also teach a class every day, special effects.
Awesome.
So we do mask and prosthetics and costume making and prop making and things like that.
Oh, awesome.
So this was right up our alley. And I explained that to the tour guides. And this, by the way, this was run by a different group. This was run by VIP Experiences.
Okay. So
for all your backstage tours. Let's see. The description is pretty apt. This is actually what we experienced.
Good.
It was a fairly lengthy tour. It was a 3-hour tour, but this tour was led by a couple different people, Kyle and Kate. And the only reason I'm mentioning that is because they were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
They greeted us at that be guest services, and they asked us a few questions about our students to prep the tour to be more specific to what they would want to experience. And before the park opened, so we were able to walk the streets and not have a lot of people around. So that was really great for the kids. In fact, the majority of the kids had never been to the parks before.
Wow.
So that was great. I think we had 2 kids on the trip, never been to the parks.
Right.
So we took a tour of the backlots in the New York area. And they took us there because the Mummy wasn't ready yet. They were still prepping for the day. Mm-hmm. And in that area, Kyle and Kate were really extensive in wanting to say, okay, hey, these are areas where they've actually shot movies. They were talking to us about they filmed Matinee there with John Goodman in '93.
All right.
And they talked about, okay, well, you guys, special effects, and we also a lot of my kids are involved with our haunted house that I'm the creative director for in our local area. And they talked about scare tactics and how you would dress the scene and how you would have fog running in and how you would scare customers coming through. So they were very interactive and with our kids.
That's cool.
Which is what you need, because you need to keep those kids engaged, don't you? Otherwise, kids get bored very quickly.
They do. Yes, they do. After that, we did go inside and we rode the mummy. We rode the mummy with the house lights on.
Awesome.
Yes.
That would be so cool.
It was great. And then we unloaded and loaded right back up, and they turned the show lights on, and we went through and we talked about the differences between what it looks like without the show lights and what it looks like with, and how it completely changes your experience, and how it goes from still it's fun, exciting, but it's completely thrilling with the proper show lights on.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we unloaded, and then we did go, you were mentioning earlier, we did go below the tracks, and we were able to see the first guest of the day coming through and loading up and going on the ride. So that was pretty exciting to be below the tracks and see all that happening.
Yeah, because I think they started doing that more regularly, haven't they, Darren? Because that's a production tour, isn't it? You can just, anyone can take that.
Well, not with the house lights.
Oh, no, I mean under the tracks and stuff, don't they? I know.
Yeah, to a certain extent. When we took the the VIP tour we won with Universal, they took us back farther than we did on the regular Mummy tour.
Okay.
They went to a certain length and stopped, but when we went on the VIP tour, he brought us all the way back to show us where the parts of Kong were still there.
Yes.
And that kind of thing. So it sounds like this was pretty similar to that, where you actually got in there a little bit more and got to see a little bit more than the average tour does. So,
well, after that, they took us outside and we continued to walk around the park a little bit. And they just tell us a little bit about what the buildings were, how they'd use it to shoot films. And then they took us on a tour of the Dave School.
Yes.
Yes.
And that was something that we were not expecting at all.
Yeah, because sorry, Chris, to put him, but Tracy's looking very confused here. Would you like to explain to Tracy what the Dave School is?
Sure. I'm sorry. Dave School, it's an acronym for Digital Animation and Visual Effects.
Okay.
And that's a school that's in Soundstage 25.
Yes, I know about it because Kevin Smith always used to plug it on Hollywood Babylon.
Yeah.
I think that's where I heard about it the first time, too.
Yeah.
I thought it was just where only people with the first name David could go and work.
Yeah, it's also a requirement, yeah.
I thought so.
And because my students we're trying to constantly preach to them, yes, you can be an artist and you can have a job in the arts.
Yeah.
So if you want that, and this was a perfect opportunity for them to see in the computer labs, creating what they were working on. It was just a wonderful experience for them to see, yes, it is possible. These are options out there.
Yeah.
After that, we went to the tour was just about over at that point, and we went to Horror Makeup Show, and they had not run their first show of the day, and we were sitting in there and just had a Q&A with kids, and they asked some questions and they asked us some questions, and just about special effects and how we do things at our haunted house and how that's different from how things go at HHN, and talked about the differences there and the similarities.
That'd have been quite interesting for you then, Chris, running your own haunted house.
Sure. Oh yeah. Yeah, we do not have long lines like they do at HHN. We send in groups of, and it's a completely different flow.
I can well imagine.
Yeah.
Did you get to see the Horror Makeup Show? Did they show you behind the scenes of it then, Chris?
No, they did not do that, but we all went back later in the day and saw the show.
So after you guys got to take the tour, did they kind of let your group loose in the park? Did they?
Right. They did.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. And at that point, the park was open.
Yeah. So it sounds like I was expecting it to be something a little more in depth than it actually is. I mean, it sounds really cool, especially the mummy section of it, but it doesn't sound like it was a particularly big, in-depth sort of tour, really.
It is and isn't. It's hard to gauge because they're talking to kids and they don't know what level of interest they have in these things. Even though we discussed that, they don't want to go too far because they don't want to lose them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How old were the kids you took, Chris?
Let's see. Our youngest was 15 and our oldest was 18.
I think you're sort of right in the market for that sort of interest. I know I would have been at that age.
Yeah. It is. It sounded like it was really similar to the VIP tour that we took. So, you got a big brunt of the VIP tour. I mean, the only other thing is we got on the rides and had lunch at a restaurant. But other than that, we did the mummy tour kind of thing. You got more because you got to see it with the lights on. We did some more of the backstage. We went to the Dave School actually too on our VIP tour. So they showed us like the biggest green screen in the South that they have there, and a couple of the sets they still have on there from Sharknado. It was like got to sit in the chair that David Hasselhoff sat in. That was kind of nice.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they've got like a motion capture area for video games and things like that. So that was really cool to see how they set up for that. But it's really funny to hear that because it's, like I said, it's very similar to the VIP tour, and I'm guessing it's run by the same people as well. You said the VIP services was running that one, so yeah.
Do you think was it what you expected it to be then, Chris? Were you happy with what you got out of it from what you sort of went in expecting?
For the most part, the special effects tour, yes, I would encourage people to do that. If you have students or if you had kids who are going to be going to Universal, try to encourage that as a tour to go on. As far as the Food for Thought tour, not so much.
No, that doesn't sound like it was anything like what it was advertised.
No.
Yeah.
No, and there could have been things that have happened in the past. I mean, that's the way things go.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to look at something like the Unmasking the Horror tours last year for Horror Nights, how that got changed up halfway through due to things that whatever went on. I don't think, did they ever actually officially come out and say why they stopped letting you take pictures in the IP houses, Darren?
Oh, well, they didn't officially say, but it was just assumed that the IP holders weren't happy with people taking selfies with Krampus and those kind of things. So.
Whoops, I was guilty of that.
I
wish I could have gotten there beforehand.
Well, that was the big reason behind everyone wanting to do those tours, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, primarily. I would say for sure. Mm-hmm. It's a bummer, but at least they're letting people know ahead of time now.
Yeah.
It's like they straight up say on there now. It's like select ones only, which of course are all the original houses. So.
Doesn't listening to the crew at UUOP every week make you wish that you were actually at Universal Orlando Resort? Well, stop wishing and start doing. Mouse and Muggle Travel Company is the perfect place to begin. Their team of concierge-level travel planners will help you every step of the way. And for you Muggles who also love the mouse, their team of experts specialize in Disney destinations too. And the best part of all, their services are free to you. So, if you're ready to plan your next Disney or Universal vacation, let Mouse and Muggle Travel Company do all the work for you. Just go to mouseandmuggle.com and fill out a no-obligation quote request. Or send an email to info@mouseandmuggle.com. And remember, whether you're a mouse or a muggle, Mouse and Muggle Travel Company can help make your next vacation simply magical.
All right, well, the first segment went a little quick there, so we're going to go ahead and do a Q&A with you, Chris. So,
sounds good.
All right, excellent. So, Lee, go ahead, kick it off.
Cool. Chris, when was the first time you visited a Universal Orlando Resort?
In the mid-90s.
An early boy.
And when was the last time you went to Universal Orlando?
Just a couple months ago with my kids.
Cool. As we know. What's your favourite place to eat?
Mythos in the park and Vivo outside the park.
Vivo is
we
something
didn't
we have
manage to
not
do it.
managed to get into, and I'm desperate to.
Cowfished instead. Bad move.
It's okay. Good.
Cowfish is not good.
It was for me.
Sometimes.
But Mythos is nice. Beautiful.
Yes, I do like Mythos.
And the food's always immaculately presented.
Yes.
Just don't always bring you a drink. Never let that go.
Chris, what is your Men in Black high score?
In the 500,000s.
Respectable.
Yes, it is.
I just got a kick out of you guys saying respectable.
Well, like I say, you get people on like Jade. If we had Jade on here, she'd got like 125,000.
She's 12. She's 12. And she was, 10 when she was last there. So,
No. Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, she was.
And she's
Wow.
got no hand-eye coordination.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
You need to build her a Men in Black ride at home, I think.
Take it to
They'll
Jewel.
share the news there.
They've got a zombie one at. Actually, you'd be quite interested. It's themed to like a haunted house, like a zombie thing in Alton Towers, and it's basically Men in Black but zombies.
It's cool.
But
Oh,
the
cool.
triggers on those guns are. It's like imagine Toy Story Midway Mania if it wasn't a pull trigger, but it was like a normal trigger. Your hands are killing you by the end.
You come out with Popeye's forearms.
Yes.
Especially when you go around 8 times like Lee wants to.
I love it.
We just go in and out. And I'm kind of like, I can't feel my arms from the elbows down.
But it's cool. It's actually a really good ride.
You only did that. And you only wanted to keep going round until that last time when you finally beat me.
Whatever.
And then we stopped.
I love that attraction though. It's cool.
Yeah.
Well, you guys will be ahead of the curve when it turns into Daryl's zombie shootout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, so. Okay, so what's your Rip Ride Rocket song of choice?
Pass.
Pass. You're not on Darren's side, are you, Chris?
It's not my favorite coaster.
Look, we all like the same coaster. There'd only be one.
I changed your mind on it.
Yeah, well, I haven't been in it for a while, so I'm starting to change it back. Which Hogwarts house are you in?
Hufflepuff.
Woo!
Yay.
I have had to accept it now. I keep saying that I didn't want to believe it, but I suppose I have to. And I've tried to get out, and I've been. Although in that stupid thing you did in the producers club, I was a Ravenclaw with a Hufflepuff crest for some reason.
That's right, Chris. Badges unite.
Yes. I like badges. Actually, I'm quite happy with that now.
Right, rapid fire now.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, need to say it's Fast and Furious in the ready money round for those Brit listeners. Was that catchphrase?
I think
Was it
so.
catchphrase?
I don't know.
Anyway, Darren and Chris have no idea what we're talking
No,
about.
as usual.
Nope, not it.
Go.
Hogsmeade or Diagon Alley?
Hogsmeade.
Forbidden Journey or Escape from Gringotts?
Forbidden Journey.
Hogwarts Express London to Hogsmeade or Hogsmeade to London?
Either. I have no preference.
I can't remember which is which, to be
No,
fair.
me either.
Spider-Man or Transformers?
Spider-Man.
Shrek or Minion Mayhem?
Minion Mayhem.
A Duff or a Wizard's Brew?
Wizard's Brew.
Both are correct. Pumpkin Juice or Flaming Moor?
Pumpkin Juice.
Absolutely
Yes.
correct.
Horror Makeup or Sinbad?
Hard makeup.
Yeah. There's not much of a competition
No,
there,
not
really, is there? Let's be honest. Terminator 2 3D or Poseidon's Fury?
Terminator 2.
Blues Brothers or Celestina Warbeck?
Celestina.
Jaws or Back to the Future?
Confrontation.
That's a cheat.
Back to the Future.
Ugh. Megatron or Optimus Prime?
Optimus.
In-ride effect, fire or water?
Fire. I wear glasses, so water's no good.
No, it's
with you on that one.
That's a good excuse.
Yep. Frog Choir or Ragtime Gals?
Ragtime Gals.
That's a tough one, that I think.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. Once you see it.
Be nice if I could actually
good.
see them.
Yeah.
I love the Frog Choir, though.
Yeah, but you haven't seen Ragtime Gals yet.
I've-
We do like
We have videos up on our YouTube. I have watched them. Grinchmas or Mardi Gras?
Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras Parade or Macy's Parade?
Mardi Gras. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Halloween Horror Nights, IP or original?
Original.
Halloween Horror Nights Express or Stay and Scream?
Both.
Yeah, I think I need to take that question now because everyone who's took it so far has said both, so it's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, we need to take advice there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we did do both.
We did. Yes. Zeus Landing or Kid Zone?
Zeus.
Correct.
Port of entry or production central?
Port of entry.
I don't think that's a
Correct.
competition either,
No.
is it? Let's channel Hunter. Leaky broomsticks or 3 cauldrons? Leaky cauldron or 3 broomsticks?
3 broomsticks.
The Hulk or Rip Ride Rocket?
Hulk.
1 fish, 2 fish, or King and Krotos?
King and Kodos.
Krotos, that's right.
The Islands of Adventure Lagoon or the Universal Studios Florida Lagoon?
Islands of Adventure Lagoon.
Express or Virtual Queue?
Well, I guess if I'm on site, Express, and otherwise, Virtual Queue.
Cool.
DeLorean or train?
DeLorean.
A Reign of Kong or Revenge of the Mummy?
Mummy.
Ghostly Greens or Planet Put?
Ghostly Greens.
And finally, the lighthouse or the globe?
The Lighthouse.
Yes. Most people go, oh, because it's iconic, I have to go for the globe. I much prefer the lighthouse. I understand why people choose
No,
the
I
globe
do.
because it is, but I think the lighthouse gives not just Islands of Adventure, but the whole of City Walk, the whole area,
Yeah.
such a different ambience, especially at night.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Some good
And since
different answers
you're
there.
a teacher, I have to give you a grade on that one. And, you almost lost it with picking the lighthouse over the globe, but you won it back by picking Back to the Future. So
Okay.
100%. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on tonight, Chris. We really appreciate you coming on and telling us about your experience there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Oh, not a problem. Would you like to tell us about your haunt that you do there in Alabama?
Yes.
Yes, please. Insanitarium Haunted Attraction. You can find us at insanitariumhaunt.com, and you can also find us on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. Just search Insanitarium Haunted Attraction.
Awesome. Big advocates for
Local haunt.
what's the word I was like? Independent haunts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's such a cool name as well.
Yeah.
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 Really
Very
is.
cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get the Dead Man's Digest up there for sure.
Yes.
Yes. Come on.
That would be awesome, actually, and on location in a different part of America.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna do it. One of these days we'll get out there.
I'll put you in a costume, put some makeup on you.
Darren, you can't turn that down now.
Oh god, no. I'm for it.
The chance to scare act would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
He didn't mention Scare Act and he's put him in a pretty dress and he's going to have to prance around being called Nancy all day.
That is very true. I never did say so.
Yeah. Always read the small print.
All right, that's going to do it for this show. So, thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Well, that wraps up another Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Thanks for listening. Between shows, please subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes. It really helps. But if you're not an Apple user, you can find us on Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, or wherever great podcasts are found. Head over to our blog at uuopodcast.com for show notes, articles, and more. You can get in touch with us by emailing podcast@uuopodcast.com or leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/uuopodcast. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube. Just search UUO Podcast. And if you're planning a trip to Universal Orlando or Walt Disney World, please check out our sponsors by going to mouseandmuggle.com to book your next trip. Well, that's a wrap. See you next week.